Korea Apartment Republic, where your home defines your class.
Welcome to the Deep Dives. Today we're taking a look at something really central to life in modern Korea,
That's right.
apartment living. I mean, for so many people, these huge buildings are basically symbols of, a modern, stable life.
Exactly. But the cultural impact, it goes much, much deeper than just housing.
So that's our mission today, right?
Absolutely. We want to sort of pull back the curtain on the social, even the psychological side of apartment life in Korea.
Okay.
Hopefully, by the end of this, you'll have a much clearer picture, a kind of shortcut to understanding it all.
Great. So let's start with how they got so big. I mean, in the West, apartments often started as housing for workers, maybe young single people. Was it like that in Korea?
Well, that's actually where the Korean story is really different, quite dramatic, in fact.
Oh.
Yeah, Korean apartments just didn't follow that Western path.
Yeah.
They went from being this, luxury thing in the 1960s.
Luxury, right.
To being the absolute definition of middle-class living by the 1980s.
That's incredibly fast.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it mirrors Korea's super fast industrialization, that kind of compressed growth we always talk about. They very quickly became the type of home people wanted.
Across all social levels.
Pretty much, yeah. It wasn't confined to one group.
Okay, so that's a huge shift. What was it about apartments beyond just being a place to live that made them so desirable?
Well, that's the fascinating part. It wasn't just about four walls and a roof. They offered something really crucial: privacy.
Privacy.
Yeah, a secure personal space, a place you could decorate, make your own, express your identity inside.
Okay, I get that.
And that was, quite a contrast to maybe more traditional Korean homes, where big life events might happen more out in the open, like in shared yards or community areas.
Right, more communal spaces. So apartments brought this element of personal sanctuary.
Exactly.
But then you have thousands of these private sanctuaries packed together in these huge complexes. What does that do for community? Does it build it up or?
Yeah, that's the paradox, isn't it? It's really a double-edged sword.
Oh, so.
Well, on one side, you definitely see signs of community. People have residence meetings, kids play together in the complex playground, that sort of thing.
Okay, sounds positive.
But the source we looked at also mentioned their closed nature. Someone even compared the design, the fences, the security guards, to a military base.
A military base? Seriously?
Yeah, a bit tongue-in-cheek maybe, but it points to how self-contained they are. And surprisingly, that can lead to this kind of indifference.
Indifference, even with neighbors right next door.
Yeah, almost a norm of non-involvement is how it was put. Maybe it's the sheer density, maybe information overload. Hard to say exactly.
A norm of non-involvement.
Wow.
That's counterintuitive. Does that also mean the people living there tend to be very similar, homogenous?
That often seems to be the case. And that homogeneity, like similar apartment sizes, often meaning similar income levels, that's another one of those double-edged things.
Right.
It can make the dons inside the group stronger. You feel connected to people who seem like you.
But the flip side?
The flip side is it can, maybe subtly, encourage excluding people who are different, people outside that specific complex or income bracket. So it can be very inclusive internally, but potentially exclusive externally.
I see. So we have privacy, this peculiar kind of community. What else? Do apartments mean more than just a place to live and maybe socialize a bit?
Oh, absolutely. They're way more than just homes. They are huge symbols of social status.
Status.
And maybe even more importantly now, they're seen as major assets, investments.
Ah, the economic angle.
Exactly. Historically, apartments in Korea have appreciated in price faster than other kinds of housing. So they became the preferred way to, build wealth through property.
And that focus on investment value can have other effects too, right?
Definitely. It can even lead to things like price collusion among residents.
Wait, like neighbors getting together to keep prices high?
Sort of, yeah. Informal agreements or coordinated efforts to protect their property values. Because it's not just a home, it's their main asset.
That's quite something. So wrapping this up, why do you think this preference for apartments is still so strong today? What keeps people choosing them?
Well, there's some very practical reasons people point to. Safety and security often come up first.
Safer than single-family homes?
The perception and often lower reported crime rates within complexes, yes. Also, ease of maintenance is a big factor, less personal upkeep compared to a detached house.
Right, convenience.
And access to good schools is often tied to specific apartment complexes or districts. That's a huge draw for families.
And there are even preferences within the apartments themselves, right? Like specific layouts.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Things like South-facing units are highly sought after for sunlight,
Mm-hmm.
and there's often a desire for bigger living rooms, even if it means fewer smaller bedrooms. That central family space is really valued.
So when you put it all together, it's this really complex picture, isn't it? Apartment life in Korea mixes this deep desire for privacy, a very unique, sometimes distant sense of community, and this massive economic weight.
It truly is. Understanding apartments is, like we said, a real shortcut to understanding a huge slice of modern Korea.
A fascinating deep dive.